Chodesh Tammuz, so many amazing, beautiful lessons to learn. And we're going to look into Sefer Yetzirah and see how Chodesh Tammuz applies to us on a very personal and very practical level. I want to mention that I get all my information from Rabbi Dover Pinson's book, The Month of Tammuz. He has the entire set. You can get it all on Amazon. I'll post a link at the bottom in the description. It's fascinating, fascinating information. So every single Hebrew month has a Hebrew letter, a sense, a body part, a shevet, many more things that apply to that month and connect to each other, as you'll soon see. The letter for the Hebrew month of Tammuz is the letter Ches. If you look at the letter Ches, it has two walls and a roof, but it doesn't have a floor. That symbolizes descent, falling. There's no foundation. There's nothing to hold you. There's nothing there. The first time the letter Ches is mentioned in the Torah is in the word Chodesh, which is darkness. The sense for the month of Tammuz is the sense of sight. The first time the word seeing or sight is mentioned in the Torah, it says Hashem saw the light and it was good. So there are very deep teachings in the Torah when it comes to Chodesh, darkness. We actually learn that Chodesh is not really darkness. Chodesh is a light that is so intense that we can't see it. When you look up at the sun or you look into a very, very bright light, what happens? We have to close our eyes. We can't take the light in because it's just so intense. And when we close our eyes, all we see is darkness. But it doesn't mean that the light is not there. It just means that the light is just too bright for us to see at that moment. This is the month, Tammuz, where we face our inner darkness. We face our pain, our anxieties, our sadness, any of those feelings that we would consider dark feelings. And whether these are feelings that we have because of our wiring, how we were born, that's just how our bodies are, our brains. Some people are just a little more anxious than others. Or from our experiences, we go through life and different things happen to us that cause us to have belief systems about things. And whether these belief systems are true or not, we have them. And Tammuz is the month to explore those inner feelings and to change that darkness and to be able to open our eyes to reveal the light that's there so we don't feel like we're living in darkness. Sometimes a pain, an anxiety, a sadness is so intense. It's like a thick darkness. It's like a blanket over us. But when we are able to face it and we're able to work through it, it's like we physically become lighter and we see the world in a much lighter way through brighter eyes. The sense for the month of Tammuz is sight, like we mentioned before. What is the Hebrew word for sight? Yirah. What is the Hebrew word for fear or awe? Yirah. Same word. So obviously there is a connection. Everybody fears seeing ourselves, who we are. We fear facing ourselves. We fear vulnerability. We fear opening up. We fear what we're going to see when we go there. What are we going to find when we start looking inside who we are? When we start exploring why we feel certain things, why we see the world a certain way. It's very scary. But right away in the Torah, it says, Hashem saw the light and it was good. It was good. It doesn't say Hashem saw the light, period. Hashem saw the light and it was good. What is Hashem telling us? Hashem is saying, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to face yourself. Don't be afraid to go to the places you haven't gone to deep within your heart that you've put away. Because it may seem really dark and really scary, but once you go there and you face it, you are going to reveal the most radiant, beautiful light that has been there all along, but you are the only one who's able to reveal it. No one else can reveal it. No one else can go there and work through these things. You are the only one that has that power to reveal it. And once we do reveal that inner light that we have, once we get to the bottom of the sadness, of the anxiety, where is it coming from, and get the tools to work through it, we suddenly become enlightened. We're able to see the world through different eyes. We're able to see people differently, because when our insides, when we feel lighter on the inside, everything around us looks lighter. Someone can walk by you. If you're feeling heavy and dark, then you're going to see heaviness and darkness. And someone can walk by you and not look at you because they're in their own world. But if you're feeling heavy and dark, you can be like, wow, that person just ignored me. Or if you're feeling light and you're feeling happy, you might even smile at that person and make them feel better, make their day a little lighter. So it really, really, really stems from the inside. That's where it all starts. There's a beautiful story. It's a clip going around of the Rebbe. And I actually think I've said the story in a couple of different shiurim, where a little boy came with his mother to the Rebbe, and he was kicked out of yeshiva, and he just was not doing well in the system. And the mother thought, maybe the Rebbe can talk some sense into this kid. And the mother's crying, and the Rebbe calls the little boy over. And the little boy walks over to the Rebbe, and he uses the word with conviction. And he looks at the Rebbe, and before the Rebbe can even say anything, the little boy goes, "So you're the Rebbe?" And the Rebbe smiles at him, and the Rebbe says to him, "Are you being a good boy?" And the little boy looks at him and says, "Nope." And the Rebbe says, "Do you like school?" And the little boy says, "Nope." And the Rebbe says, "Are you listening to your mother?" And the little boy says, "Nope." And the Rebbe smiles at him. And the Rebbe looks at the mother and he says, "This boy is emes. He speaks the truth. He's an honest child." And this little boy said, that was like this pivotal turning moment in his life. He said the Rebbe saw something in him that no one was able to see up until now. All they saw was this rebellious, this chutzpah kid, and this kid was giving the Rebbe what everyone had seen in him up until then. The Rebbe saw something else. The Rebbe was light. So the Rebbe was only able to see light. And that is our goal, to bring the light out in ourselves, so everyone we see and everything we do is light. It affects everything. And that is what Tammuz is giving us the power to do. There's a beautiful saying: we don't see things how they are, we see things how we are. So however we're feeling, that's how our world is going to be. The mazel for the month of Tammuz is the sartan, the crab. In English, it's the Cancer. That's the name of the star sign. And usually people born in the month of Tammuz, and I say usually because these are just characteristics that they have, that obviously there's nature and there's nurture, and we have free choice. But these are kind of like underlying character traits that people born in the month of Tammuz have that can cause them to be more emotional people. They can overreact in situations. They're definitely more domestic. They have a very strong bond to their home and to their immediate families. They value the history of their own lives, which affects their different relationships. So, for example, this could be a good thing or a not good thing. When things happen in their lives, they hold on to it, and it affects everything else in their lives. It's not like something happens and they move on. They tend to hold on to things that happen in their lives. When you look at a crab, and this applies to many people, crabs like hiding, and crabs walk sideways. What does this symbolize? Hiding and walking sideways, avoidance. Very often people born in this month do not like confrontation. They don't like hard conversations, and they will do anything they can to hide from it, to avoid it. Tammuz is the month to try and work on that. Think of the hard conversations that need to be had and have them. So often these conversations, we build up a whole story in our minds, and then when we actually have them, number one, they're so productive, and number two, they're not nearly as catastrophic as we envision them to be. So conversations are hard, and especially in this day and age where you could just send a text or WhatsApp and email, it's so much easier to just have a one-sided conversation. But it's important to be able to have hard conversations. We can learn from people born in Tammuz not to hold on to the past when things happen, and to use them as learning and growing opportunities. Crabs live near the water, right? And the month of Tammuz is a water sign, is the different elements, and water is for the month of Tammuz. Connecting to facing ourselves, it's hard. It's hard. We have to look at our situations, and sometimes we like to deny certain things in our lives. And facing them is hard, facing ourselves. And very often when we face ourselves, we're mourning situations that we really wish could have happened. And by facing ourselves, we're admitting that what we wanted, we don't have. For example, many of us can be in denial about who our spouse is, our children, our job, our life. We could think to ourselves, when you finally face yourself and say, you know what, this is not the life I envision for myself. And it's sad, because when you're young and idealistic, you envision marrying a certain person, you envision what your children are going to be like, you envision what your job is going to look like, you envision what your home is going to look like, where you're going to live, your friends, your family. And sometimes it doesn't work out the way we planned. And when things don't work out the way they planned, either we can just pretend and not really face the fact of whatever it is that we're dealing with, or when we do finally face it, it's very painful. And what happens when things are painful? We cry. What happens when you cry? Your eyes are blurred. You can't see because of the tears. But what happens after that? What happens once you're finished crying? Your eyes are clear as day, and a certain clarity and relief sets in. So the only way to get through these painful feelings is to get through them, is to feel the pain, is to cry. And going through those moments of when things are blurry, we know that ultimately it's going to be a lot more clear afterwards, but we have to work through it. You can't get the clarity without the tears. It's just part of the process that Hashem gives us. The month of Tammuz tells us that sometimes we need to go into a deeper darkness in order to reveal that light. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. Hashem is literally right there next to us saying, I saw the light and it was good. It was good. The Shevet for the month of Tammuz is Reuven. You look at the word Reuven, you have Reuven. See between. Look between the lines. Reuven's land was neighboring with the Yam HaMelech. The Yam HaMelech is a salty sea. And just like we spoke about before, the highest level of seeing and clarity is usually through tears. This pain that we go through enables us to see between the lines. There's a beautiful story about a man he had a dream that he was looking for a treasure. He went all around the world looking for the treasure when that treasure was in his backyard. Very often, we are looking for salvation. We are looking for that relief. And we're looking here, we're looking there, this book, this therapy, this technique, this, when it's within ourselves, it's in our hearts. And the only way to get that relief is to work on ourselves from the inside. The body part for the month of Tammuz is the right hand. The right hand signifies chesed. When we look at a hand that's pointing, you have one finger pointing forward and you have three fingers pointing backwards. Look, everyone who's listening, look back on your life. You have survived the hardest day of your life up until now. You've also celebrated the most wonderful days of your life up until now. Hashem has our back. Moving forward, Hashem is telling you, you have survived whatever has come your way up until now. I got you. You will survive whatever is coming your way. And you know what? May we all be blessed to have wonderful days up ahead. But there's going to be hard days. And just like you had hard days in the past, you will get through those hard days up ahead, just like you did in the past. Hashem will get us through it. We will get ourselves through it. And just like you had many wonderful days in the past, you're going to have many, many wonderful days to look forward to. Hashem has them all lined up for us. The element for the month of Tammuz is water, like we discussed before. Water puts out fires. Water quenches thirst. Water is tears. This month is all about put out your inner fires. Quench your thirst. Fill up that emptiness that you're feeling. Cry through it. Cry through it. It's okay. Because those tears are going to bring you so much clarity. And to end off, we're in Tammuz. It's a season, it's the summer. And it talks about the Meraglim in the summer and how they went into Eretz Yisrael. They went on their own. And they had one job: scout out the land, check it out. And they came back with their opinions and their thoughts, and they didn't follow instructions. And it pretty much, they went on their own. They did things by themselves, and it really didn't lead to very good things. And we can learn from here. We have a guidebook. We have instructions. Hashem he's laid it all out for us. It's there to support us and help us and get us through whatever it is we're going through. Use it. Don't do things by yourself. We don't need to do things by ourselves. Hashem did not create us to be alone. He didn't. He created us to be there for each other. And he created us, he literally gave us the guidebook to get through life. He knew life's tough, but I'm going to give you something that's going to help you get through it. I'm going to give you people in your life, and I'm going to give you this guidebook. So Rifki, share with us some more about this amazing guidebook that we have.
Yeah, I think about the guidebook a lot. I think about it as a manual. It's like Hashem created us, and he knows exactly how we operate and how we work, right? Like if you needed to know how to work the Ford car, you would call Mr. Ford, who created the car, and he knows every single detail and every single part, and he will be able to help you fix the car. Hashem made us. He knows how people are wired, how men are wired, how women are wired. He understands. It's like, imagine how amazing it is. We're put into this world and we have a manual, and all we need to do is follow it because Hashem knows exactly how he made us, right? Like Taras Mishpacha, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Hashem knows exactly how men are, how women are, and therefore he made Taras Mishpacha. Shabbos, Hashem knows us. Hashem knows the worlds he created, and Hashem knows that we need Shabbos and how important Shabbos is for us because he created us. So it's like, why wouldn't we follow the manual? It's like going to Disneyland and looking at, oh, I'm not going to follow the map. And then you're kind of like lost all the time. But wait, if you follow the map, you'll see these are the main attractions, and all you have to do is follow the signs and get there. So yeah, that's what it's all about, following the manual, and that's it. The manual is the Torah, and when we follow the Torah and Hashem's guidance and the Rebbe's guidance, we have the best life. About a year ago, there was a man who owned a jewelry store, and he recalls an incident that happened to him about 1 year ago. He said that there was like the way it was going on in the jewelry stores, the burglars were coming and they were robbing the stores, and they would kind of break open, and when they would open, the store owner would get alerted that someone's robbing his store, and they would come quickly. And when the store owner would come, the robber would hold them at gunpoint and force them to open the safe and take their stuff. So this man is saying that he's home, it's Friday night, and suddenly he hears his alarm ring, and he says, oh no, someone's stealing my store. from my store. But it's Friday night and it's Shabbos and he does not want to leave and he's decided that's it. It's Shabbos Chodesh. Hashem will protect me. I'm not going. And he didn't. After Shabbos, he comes to his store and nothing is moved. Nothing is taken. And a cop said to him, by the way, by you not coming, it saved your life. Because the burglar waited and waited and gave up waiting for you. And when he didn't come, he left. And had you come, you would have been held up at gunpoint. And many of the stories did not end well. When we trust in Hashem and when we are connected to Hashem, we feel safe and secure. And when we are separated, that's when we start to feel the panic. And, it's like the example of a little child with his mother in an amusement park, and he's holding mommy's hand, and he is in heaven. He is with mommy, and mommy's taking him wherever he needs to go. And it's just, he's having the time of his life, right? But then he gets lost from his mommy. And suddenly he's terrified. And suddenly this exciting amusement park is not fun anymore because he's lost and he's scared. And that's what it's like when we're connected to Hashem. Everything is yummy and delicious. And we know Hashem is running the world and everything is good. But when we're separated, we're that little kid lost in this big, exciting park. But it's not exciting anymore because it feels so scary. So we want to just work on being connected to Hashem. And it says, Hashem b'tzadei gaver. Hashem prepares the footsteps of man. So we recently made a simcha and I had to go to the florist, his home. His wife was home and I had to give him money. And when I came to the house, we counted the money and by mistake, I was $100 short. And I was frustrated because I had so many things on my to-do list and I kind of wanted to just check it off, done. But I was $100 short. I miscounted and I said to the woman, I will come back. Later that day, I called the florist. I called the man. I said, I'm so sorry. I miscounted. I'm going to come back and bring the money. He said, what do you mean? It's perfect. It's exactly how much it's supposed to be. He said, don't you remember when you signed up to do flowers with me, you gave me $100 deposit. And I was like, oh, wow. Hashem runs the world. Hashem knows exactly how much needed to be. And here I am frustrated. Why do I have to come back? Why did I forget? I didn't forget. It was exactly the way it needs to be. And when we live our life remembering every second that it's exactly the way it's supposed to be, then we feel calm. This Thursday is Gimel Tammuz. And how can we stay connected? The Rebbe's yahrzeit. How can we stay connected? Through learning the letters from the Rebbe, through going to the iHel, through the iHel app, sending messages. And in a letter to someone, the Rebbe says, the world is not without an owner. And the Rebbe says, the main thing is to be happy. Just to be happy. Sometimes I wake up and I have so many thoughts swirling and swirling. And I just say, Rifki, just be happy. So it doesn't make me instantly happier, but it's like the message is, wait, that's the goal. Just be happy. Things are going well, things are not going well, things are the way you want it, things are you don't want it. You're happy about this, you're not happy about this. It doesn't matter. Goal, be happy. It's almost like giving permission to yourself to just be joyful, even though things are not working out the way you want them to be. And that's really what the Rebbe tells us. Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. We just had Sheva Brachas and we traveled to Montreal. And it was an absolutely gorgeous day. I mean, it was like picture perfect. The trees and the road was clear. So the outside was great, but 4 or 5 hours in, the kids are starting to get antsy and it's like the drive is not so comfortable anymore. And I was, getting a little complainy in my own head, like, oh, I just wanted to be quiet and peaceful. Anyway, suddenly from nowhere comes this insane rainstorm. It was like a marble, like you could not see anything. Like all you saw was just water washing. It was like being in a car wash. And it lasted about 5 minutes. And I said, oh Hashem, oh my God, just I'll do anything. Please, just make this rainstorm disappear, And we said the 12 psukim. It's always helpful. The 12 psukim are magic, I'm telling you. And within 5 minutes, the rain stopped completely. But I can't explain it. It's not like it was a rainy day and it was still gloomy. it was like a cloud. It was a passing cloud. And we literally just drove through it. And after 5 minutes, it was like back to that absolutely glorious day. And I just thought to myself, sometimes life, we have so many beautiful things to be grateful for. And then we complain. We complain about this and we complain about that. And it's like we want to just be happy with what we have, because even the good things that we have could be taken away from us. Like the fact that we had that gorgeous weather, I was focusing on the noise in the car when I should really have been focusing on the beautiful day. And if we don't focus on that, then that can be taken away from us. So we have to just, yes, acknowledge the frustrations, but focus on the big picture and the good things that we do have in our life. And I was also thinking, like, yeah, sometimes life brings thunderstorms. Sometimes it's sunny and sometimes it's thundering and it's just a passing cloud. And we have to just, ride the wave and reach out for help and reach out for support and ask Hashem to help us. And Hashem will help us. So, yeah, that's life. Life has passing thunderstorms and we have to ride the wave, but focus on the fact that we have so much good in our life. There's a beautiful clip from the Rebbe of people of Farbrengen, a group of disabled soldiers from the war. They're all downstairs in 770 and they're all in wheelchairs and they all have like this sadness and frustration because they got hurt in the war and it wasn't easy for them. And the man introduces them as this is the disabled group. And the Rebbe says, no, 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 no. We're not going to call them disabled. We're actually going to call them exceptional, mitsuyanin, because ordinary people cannot get through what they are going through. They were given special powers from Hashem in order to overcome this very great challenge of being handicapped. And the Rebbe says, let's call them exceptional because they have what it takes to overcome this. And I think this message is just a beautiful message for life. Like, yes, when we're given a challenge, we are also given the potential to overcome it. And Hashem doesn't give us anything that we can't handle. And yes, you know what? We need the right tools. The right tools helps us get through challenges. Many, many years ago, one of my kids had a splinter that I just could not get out. And I remember taking the child to Dr. Rosen. And he walked into the room with a helmet with a light and this little tiny tool. And within literally 10 seconds, it was out. And I said, wow, magic. And he said, no, that's not magic. It's called the right tools. He had the light shining, he had the tool to take it out, and he did it. And that had an impact on me. The right tool. In life, we need the right tool. Yes, it says, find yourself a mashpia, find yourself a friend. Sometimes we see things and we're stuck. Find someone that can help you see around it. And we have to daven and ask Hashem to send us the right shliach to help us in the direction that we need help. A few years ago, upstate, we had our washing machine broke. So we thought, we'll do the cheaper route. And we hired like a handyman that used to come. He came with his wife and 2 children. They spent the day in the house. He was trying to fix a washing machine with YouTube self-help. It was an experience. Water was everywhere. We were mopping up the floors. I was giving the wife therapy on the porch. I mean, it was just next level. He was definitely not the right man for the job. Even though someone who is unconventional does have their expertise. The microwave door was also giving us trouble and it wouldn't close. And because he was unconventional, he, like another person, a professional would have said, okay, you need a new door, $300. But no, he took his little lighter, cigarette lighter, and he molded something on the door and it like fixed very quickly. So I was talking to my husband. My husband was like, if he would be conventional, he would not take out his lighter. He would say, you need a new door. But the washing machine he wasn't able to fix. So everybody has the right tool for something. But the next day, regarding the washing machine, we called a Jewish company. It was called Superior. And let me tell you who walked through the door. Literally Jackie Chan himself. He was this Chinese guy, Japanese, I don't know what he was. He walks in with this thin silver suitcase looks at the washing machine, gives a spin, and he takes out this little tiny tool, and within seconds, he somehow fixes the machine. And I was like, wow, the right tool, the right tool. And it was up and running, no messes and water and hoses. And yeah, the right tool. And we ask Hashem to give us a bracha that we have the right tool. And the best way to find the right tool is through following the Rebbe's letters and through following the guidelines of the Torah. You know, many people wake up in the morning and they have meditations. If you think about it, our morning brachas that was prepared for us thousands of years ago is meditations. Listen to this one. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam matir asurim. Help us, Hashem, King of the world, to get out of our jails, our own jails. Paikeach ivrim. Help us open our eyes and see what's really going on and see the good in our life. Hamechem mitzadei gaver. This is what we say every morning. Hashem prepares footsteps of man. Hashem is taking care of us. Shalai Asani Aved, for not making us a slave to our thoughts. So yeah, everything we need is literally right here. We just have to tap into it. Very Krasniansky from Ade Ad, she sends out these amazing posts, and her recent post said, don't get stuck in analysis paralysis, right? So we become paralyzed by our analyzing, analysis paralysis. Don't get stuck in overthinking. Just make a move, take action, go take whatever it is that you want to do. Don't get stuck in your thoughts, go out and make it happen. And yeah, there's different sciences to making things happen. And one of them is communication. So I got this great post from a good friend of mine, and it goes like this. If you're busy, say it. If you're upset, express it. If you're late, let people know. If you're unsure, ask. Yes, these are small little things that we can do to just have an easier life with better communication. This week's parasha is Parshas Kairach, and Kairach was so jealous of his cousins, and there was such big controversy. And Rabbi Biederman says that all the Shvatim have to take their staff and put it all together and